It's Wytchtober Day 11, and today we're diving into the topic of prophecies in the world of Wytchborne. Prophecies and stories are used to foreshadow events or hint at the tragic fate of a hero. They can also bring an eerie sense of mystery, leaving us to wonder where the prophecy came from and how the seer gained their knowledge. In Wytchborne, prophecies work in a similar way, with one in particular shaping the course of the witching world. Witches are secretive to outsiders. They hide in forests, peddling their magic and elixirs to those desperate enough to seek them out. But to be a witch is to be part of a community, or a coven. A coven is made up of witches who have aligned their interests to strengthen their power. Witches' powers aren't as specific as wizards or mages, so they trade and make deals amongst themselves to ensure their collective survival. This is the cornerstone of a coven, for as they pass on their craft to future generations of witches, so too do they pass on the values of their coven. One such coven, the Coven of Groves, was home to Yaren Voltares, an ancient witch and a skilled seer. The Great War of Mages had taken many lives, both caster and common. Reverence for the old deal struck between mage and witch were becoming brittle as the battlefield seemed to swallow covens like a great serpent. But not in the Coven of Groves. They were given their land in Ashbridge by a pact made with Credegor, a few short years before the knights made their treacherous move against their mage masters. The witches of this coven had committed themselves to survival by any means possible and had allied themselves with powerful forces to keep their own hidden within the trees, even allying with outcast witches like Yarnan, who they feared because of her visions. Yarnan had lived for centuries. Her half-elven blood gave her the longevity of her immortal ancestors, and she had witnessed the rise and fall of kingdoms, the ebb and flow of power. But she had seen it all long before it had actually happened. Her visions were never wrong. Her witch sign ached as she prepared to use her powers once more. How much longer would she live? How much longer did the witches have? What fate awaited them all? With a heavy heart, Yarnan slipped into a trance, knowing that each time she sought the future, she grew closer to the spirits that whispered these prophecies into her ears. Unbeknownst to her, this was her final vision, the prophecy of the Wytchborne.
The Wytchborne shall from covenless come. From the groves shall their cursed blood be born, bringing forth balance to the witching ways, and to the mages of thorn. No king nor law shall they call kin, nor creed or coven shall they bow, but to those that fall judged of sin shall they be cut ever down. Beware thou mage and lord, beware witches unknown, for the tainted soul that will roam the land, for the child known as Wytchborne.
The prophecy spread like wildfire amongst the witches. What did it mean? Who was the child? Was the prophecy one of salvation or destruction? Yarnan refused to answer. She had seen too much, and the toll was heavy. Her eyes, now blind, had given their last vision. Witches were divided by the prophecy, some believing the child would be a savior, destined to lead a revolution of the lost arts. Others feared the child would be an executioner of witch kind, a harbinger of judgment for their practices. Despite the tension, the Coven of Groves remained neutral, raising orphans of the war and continuing in the old ways. One of these children was a full-blooded elf girl displaying an astonishing talent for clairvoyance. Her elders were stunned at her natural abilities to foresee events weeks in advance. This prodigy grew into Livana Elmire, a master of prophetic magic. As a teenager, Livana learned of Yarnan's prophecy and sought her out as a mentor, hoping to use her abilities to change the fate of those who she loved. Yarnan, now a recluse, hesitated but eventually agreed to teach her. But Livana was much more powerful than Yarnan could have ever anticipated. With her newfound abilities now mastered, Livana believed she could protect the Coven and keep them united. Livana's sight went dark as a figure grew from the shadows of her vision, a malevolent specter that echoed the same prophecy that her mentor had seen years ago. The Wytchborne stood before her in her visions, his intentions as cryptic as ever, but Livana could swear she had seen him somewhere before. There's more to tell about this prophecy and the Wytchborne, but that's a story for another time. I'm really happy with how this illustration turned out, and I'm excited to share more of the world of Wytchborne with you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and to follow me on my socials so you don't miss any of the lore I'll be sharing this October. And until next time, go make something awesome.